Peter Chang from Macho Cave TV, and welcome to part 10 of our tutorial about how to paint your RC car. And now that we've gotten just about everything we wanted to be painted with our LCAD 2 Chrome for Lexan, and actually there's another area where I need to paint the Chrome 2 for Lexan, but I want to make sure that I've paint the other area my other color, and that's going to be yellow. So ideally the way that you would do this is when you're painting your RC car, you would first lay out your design, then paint it in tiers with the lighter colors first, and then your darker colors second. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and fire up my yellow paint, and the paint I chose for this is the Tester's Pactra Paint. And one problem with this paint that I discovered is that it's not like water soluble like the Fast Color or the LCAD Chrome 2 for Lexan paint. You actually thin this with enamels and turpentine and all that stuff. So for that reason, I'm using my Eclipse BCS brush with the 0.5mm nozzle so that I could actually spray the heavier paint. And I don't have any enamels on me necessarily, so I haven't had a chance to thin out this paint, so I'm just painting this paint straight from the bottle. And I would highly advise you to actually not do what I'm doing, because I didn't realize this at the time, but you should actually thin out this paint. So for best results, I believe you should actually thin out your Pactra or Tester's Pactra paint. So the reason why you don't want to paint it straight from the bottle is that if you paint it too thick, like I've done, it actually cracks. I painted it too thick by accident because it didn't look like it was drying at all, and it started to look like it was being transparent or translucent. So I decided actually to try to paint some more so that it would actually dry to this very bright yellow color. And I had to admit, I think the coloring is great. The colors look awesome. It's this wonderful bright color, but it just doesn't thin really well. It's almost too thick, and when it dries, it cracks. And it could just differ from region. I was painting this in the hot summer in the Midwest, then it may have gotten too hot in the studio and just decided to crack on me. But I would advise you to use some thinner, and I didn't use thinner because I felt like I just really want to get that very vibrant yellow color that you're seeing right now. But in hindsight, because it cracks, I would say you might want to try some water-based paint, perhaps from Spat Sticks or Fast Color. Also, if you want to paint with enamels, I highly recommend the House of Color paints. But if you were to use the House of Color paints, you should use some adhesion promoter, like the Adhere to. That's what the House of Color guys would recommend. Either way, if you are painting with the enamel-based paints, enamels would look brighter, more vibrant than water-based paints at times. So here I'm painting the top of the roof, and we see that I've removed the mask, the lovely Bob Dively liquid mask that I can't highly recommend enough of. But as you see, when I'm painting with the enamels, we see that it's almost just very translucent. So you just need to go left to right as you're painting. Also, I want to note that I'm also painting a high flow body by Proline, So not every area that I'm painting might be kept later on as I cut out a hole for a high flow body for a short course truck, so that I avoid the parachute effect. But for just the purposes of this tutorial, I've kind of just marked everything off, so everything is going to get colored no matter, even if I know I'm going to just punch a hole through it or not. And I advise you to do this too. Like, for example, like if you're going to be purchasing a bunch of like high flow bodies and you wanted to paint them and sell your designs on either Etsy or eBay, for example, or Etsy or eBay, for example, I wouldn't punch any holes in the RC car body, just because you don't know if the new owner is going to want to have every hole punched out, or if they, if some racers don't necessarily care if their car has a parachute effect, because their tracks might be flatter. They may not have as many like jumps in there, so they may not necessarily care about the parachute effect. Other racers care dearly about it and will punch out every hole possible under the racing rules. But just so you're aware that some racers do punch out all the holes, and they'll be all set. So now I'm just painting the fender walls. So once again, just my style is just to paint left to right, left to right, left to right, and then I give it 2 or 3 minutes to dry. And if the coat looks like it's too thin, then I go back and then I apply some more paint. Also, just so you know, is just that when you're painting with enamel based paints, it is hazardous, so you should actually paint in a well ventilated area, and always wear a respirator. So now it looks like even the areas where I marked off as black, for example, here, look like it's yellow. And don't let that throw you. That's just the Bob Dively liquid mask being transparent, so that the yellow does show up underneath it. So next thing I do is I'm going to just go ahead and paint the other area here. I'm just going to paint this yellow for the bottom part of the RC car, so I get that base painted. And I'm just going to do the same thing for the other side. So now I have everything painted, and I'm just going to go ahead and just let everything dry. With enamels, you should just let it dry overnight. You shouldn't try painting it right away. Rather, just let everything sit, let everything dry overnight. Enamels just take a little bit longer to dry. It doesn't dry as fast as, like, say, water-based paint. It does seem to have a little bit longer drying period. If you do get impatient, you can just grab a hair dryer and try to speed up the drying process. But overnight is fine, and just be patient about it. Thanks for watching, and remember, everything matters.